So that's a lot of force. So you're right. If you're not lined up just right, a lot of servicemen have been injured on ejecting, and some have even been killed, broke their necks or and other things. And you're absolutely right on that.
Oh, yeah. Even on the new fighters, the same thing. You don't tuck yourself in. And then, if everything goes right, the seat kind of drops off. And then, then the only thing you have to worry about is the cockpit, coming back down and decapitating you. But other than that, I mean, if everything goes right, you make it down on the ground.
Yeah, and I've seen some of those scenarios on the military channel, how a lot of guys have, really damaged themselves or got hurt bad because, like you say, if you got to line up just right, and a lot of times when you're ejecting, you usually have somebody shooting at you, so you're it's hard to concentrate on getting everything right. Or
you have a malfunction where you're about ready to crash, or you are on the crashing, going straight down. So you eject, to save your life, and maybe you don't have quite enough time to, tuck everything in. It's scary just thinking about that. And, in Antarctica and the South Pole, the scientists that go there, there's a report where especially this one German base, where the scientists and the people are there for like 14 months at a time. Besides losing weight and muscle mass, the same way they would up in space, right? They come to a conclusion, their brain shrinks.
Really?
Physically shrinks. And they, at this point, people even coming back a year or 2 years later, their brain still hasn't recovered. And they said maybe in a long period of time, if you're very active with your mind and all that stuff, your brain might physically go back to its normal size. But it said that it shrinks. And it's because a couple things. One, you're seeing white all the time. You're not seeing trees. You're not seeing cars going by. You're not seeing, the opposite sex walking by. You're seeing snow 24/7. And the other is you're with a limited number of people, usually 5 or 6 other people. So you get bored listening to the same stories all the time and all that because you're not able to take in new things on a daily basis and expand your thoughts and your emotions. Your brain starts to shrivel up a little bit.
That is very interesting. I got to tell you, we're one of the only species that, if you really think about it, everything we do is basically for entertainment purposes or to entertain our brains. I mean, really. I mean, even everything, your TV, radio shows, the scenery outside, it's to entertain your brain in one form or another. And if you totally take that away with all white, I could see how that would have some kind of psychological effects on top of, shrinking of the brain.
Well, how about going to Mars, for example? Now, NASA should read this report and come to some conclusions, because here you're going to go to Mars, supposedly, right, at one point. How long does it take to get to Mars? Okay, that whole time, what are you going to be seeing? You're going to be seeing a couple people with you in a little cockpit, in a little, space capsule. It's not going to be huge, so you're crammed. So you're not taking anything new in. You're just seeing the same thing over and over again. So wouldn't your brain at that point, too, by the time you get to Mars, start scribbling up? And then when you get to Mars, instead of seeing white, what do you see? Nothing but gray.
Gray or red or whatever it is. But, yeah, your brain needs stimuli. And the psychological effect on that I would think would be immense, because, like you said, you're cramped up with different people on a 2.5-year trip one way on the shortest trip, and that's a lot to consume. I don't even think that's even viable.
I don't know. It just makes me wonder. It just really makes me wonder if we could go to Mars and survive, because the people that go up to the space caps, what do you call it, the space station, that have been there for a long period of time. Do you know that when they come back, they have major issues that we don't hear about, such as, one, they shrink a little bit, a couple inches. 2 is they have heart problems usually, and emotional problems. All that from being up in a space shuttle. Now, could you imagine going to Mars on a one-way ticket? I don't think you're going to have a very long life expectancy once you are on Mars. I just can't see it.
I don't either. I really don't. I mean, if you don't kill each other on the way there, and then however long you're going to be there, if you're even making an attempt to come back, it's still another 2.5 years back. So you're looking at, a 5 to 6 year period that you're going to be basic. And mankind physically was not meant to be in space. Just being in space a little bit, your bones, your muscles, they start to break down. Your DNA changes. It's just bad for you. Overexposure of 5 to 6 years, man, I don't even know if that's even survivable.
Or even a year or two. Well, I know I have an answer for it. They need to make a USS Enterprise. It worked on TV.
That's true, and they could just dock it up there at the space station and just run a couple shuttlecrafts up and get things working the way it should be.
Yeah, they could create its own magnetic field, to simulate Earth. You could go into, a hologram and see your Aunt Bertha, who played a saxophone at the nudist colony. You could go in for all kinds of entertainment. So, they keep your mind going. But, in the space shuttle, let's face it, going in a space shuttle, then going to the space station, and we don't even have a space shuttle anymore. Well, we actually do, in a way. It's coming out that the military has something going on with a space shuttle.
Yeah, and another thing we didn't mention was the diet, your food. You're not eating good solid foods or bad foods, solid foods like we do here. You're basically eating dehydrated stuff or pills or powder or whatever it may be. It's not like eating here. So your body, I don't know. I just don't. It's rough all around, physically, mentally, I would think, and spiritually, all of it.
Yeah, and who wants to? No offense. Drink recycled pee.
You said it, Gary. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to unleash that one. But you're right, though. It's all recycled one way or another, whether it's as cold as in the suit or to have to drink. But nothing goes wasted in space.
I know. I wonder what they do with the poo-poo. Did they have a little vacuum a chamber that they put the poo-poo in and that blows it outside? And if they do that, could you imagine, 10 years from now, they're working on the space station, which probably won't even be there by then. But if they were, could you imagine all of a sudden you get covered with, what?
I've been waiting for you to take the cap off that one. Oh, boy, you imagine you take the cap off that one in space. Yeah, that's another thing. You got to be careful when you're recycling that stuff, however they do it, because, there's no gravity. It just kind of has its own little weirdness when it's floating around.
Yeah, it ain't pudding, I tell you that.
No, beware of that Snickers bar coming at you.
Yeah, I don't know. They recycle urine. I'm surprised they haven't recycled the other. That ain't goulash, guys. I meant to tell you that according to the our instructions here, that is, well, never mind.
Okay.
That's John's leftovers from last night.
Yeah, you don't eat no Snicker bars in space that aren't wrapped. Let's just leave it like that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I can't wait to talk. Tonight, we got, like I said, 2 great guests coming on. Jason Offutt, which is a cool guest. And then we got an expert on UFOs, William Pullin on tonight. Did I say his last name wrong? I was thinking Russian right there. I don't know. My mind. Pullin.
Yeah, Pullin.
I was thinking that is somebody else there for a second. But yeah, we're going to be talking about UFOs and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's been on before. He's got a different outlook on it, which is a fresh approach that we don't hear very much on here. And I think the listeners will like it very much if they haven't heard him the last time he was on. And yeah, Jason Offutt. Listen, he could talk cryptids from every state. So wherever you're living in, whatever state, he's got your cryptids covered.
Now, if you want to see who James Christbaum is, if you want to see this guy, or if you want to have a date with him, you can go onto our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. That's www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. We just put his ugly mug up on the website, and you can check him out.
Yeah, okay, no dates I'm taking. We'll end that one right there. But yeah, that is an ugly mug. I pity the people that see it.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. I use that software to enhance you.
Oh, okay. See, you made me look about 40 instead of 75 that I am.
Yeah, you're always saying you're like 70-something, so I made you look like 51.
Oh, I appreciate that. And you know what? Everybody else uses those, what do they call it, apps that cut their age in half or 30 years off, so why not me, right?
Yeah. Well, somebody asked me the other day, they said, Gary, I noticed in your pictures, for somebody going on 68 years old, January 8th, by the way, it said, you don't have much wrinkles. And they said, do you use preparation H on your forehead to get rid of wrinkles? And I said, no, not there. I do use it some other places, but no. The cure I found to not get a lot of wrinkles, just don't show any emotion. Even when your wife comes home and says, hey, I just spent $100 and some for a new pair of shoes, just don't show any emotion.
Oh, boy, now you let the secret out of the bag. Everybody's going to be like a zombie now, but you're going to look young.
Well, yeah, if you don't raise your eyebrows, you don't get wrinkles. So, just don't show any emotions, and you'll take 20 years off, or at least 10 years off of your age and looks.
That's a heck of a advice to stay young. Just don't show no emotions. Be like Spock, and emotions are what they call illogical.
Yeah, and also, if you believe in time travel, if you want to stay younger looking too, instead of walking forwards, everywhere you go, walk backwards.
Yeah, you might get what they call 5150 after a while, put away for about 3 days in a mental joint somewhere. If you don't walking backwards too long, you're going to back your way right into trouble.
Well, yeah, and if you end up in the hospital, like one of those never mind. But if you end up in one of those hospitals, right, and the doctors, special doctors, that start talking and ask you questions. Well, why do you walk backwards? Well, I believe in time travel. So if I walk backwards, I'm going back in time. So I actually every second I walk backwards, I gain a second.
Well, if that really worked.
Hey, okay, look, I'm joking. Okay, I don't walk backwards. Okay, I never have. Well, I have a couple times, but I don't, and I don't do it for time travel. I walk sideways, just that way because I'm neutral.
You walk sideways. And every once in a while, kind of like twitch your neck and blink your eyebrows and stutter a couple words and say, "I'm okay."
Yeah. Now, what was your name again? But anyway.
Oh my goodness!
Well, you asked for it. You came on the show.
You're hilarious, but there's a flaw in the walking backwards, because eventually, if that worked, you'd get back to where you're getting about ready to go back to being a newborn, and your mom's like 80. What do you do? You're going backwards, but everybody else is going forwards.
Wouldn't that be horrible? Hey, Mom, it's time. Never mind. I can't. We're not an X-rated show, so we can't say that. But I don't know. How many of you people out there have encountered a Mothman or a Bigfoot or any cryptic? If you have, I want to hear about your stories. Get a hold of me at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Hey, did you see that article about our show that a guy from Association of Broadcasters posted about Night Dreams Talk Radio?
Yeah, I was blown away. That was amazing. That was. I'm still amazed by that. Fill everybody in.
Well, we don't have much time, but all I can say is I got an email. It's going to be, I guess, in February's magazine. It's talking about how Night Dreams Talk Radio reminds him when he was in college, when he used to listen to, Coast to Coast with the first, talk show host on it. He said it kind of reminds him of him, the topics and the way we do the show, the sense of humor or whatever. I was blown away. I mean, it made my weekend.
Yeah, he said you remind him of Art Bell with easy.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that, but that's okay.
Okay.
He said it, but since you said it, he said I remind him of Art Bell, and that's not true. Hi, this is Art. No, anyway, but anyway,
that was his opinion.
That was his opinion, and only his opinion, and I don't take it. That's everybody has their own opinion. As long as I'm not,
that was-
I remind people, the talk show host, Harvey Wallbanger.